My name is Martina Evans. I'm a poet and novelist. I was also a radiographer for 15 years and a creative writing teacher for maybe 25 years. For more than a decade, I've been gravitating away from the novel as a form and writing long narrative poems instead. The first of these was Petrol, published in 2012, and the latest is Mountainy Men, which forms the second half of my 12th book, American Mules. I'm also a poetry critic for the Irish Times and a Royal Literary Fund Advisory Fellow. I write in bed. I've always loved the portability of poems, the way they can be carried on a scrap of paper or in one's head and recited going to sleep, and it feels appropriate that they are created in the site where we dream. Before the advent of the personal laptop, so many writers wrote in bed. Proust and Joyce and the ancient Irish poets wrote lying down on hard pallets, although I think that doesn't sound very comfortable. And now with the laptop, I imagine there must be billions of us. I noticed an article in the Irish Times recently entitled "Why You Shouldn't Work from Bed and a Guide to Doing It Anyway." The last book that blew me away was Wanda Coleman's selected poems edited by Terence Hayes. It's called Wicked Enchantment, and that name says it all. So putting this book together was a terrifying experience. I thought I was working on one collection of poems, and then Michael Schmidt suggested that I put two collections of poems together. The first half of American Mules contains the single poems I've written since 2013, and the second half, Mountainy Men, is a long narrative poem in the voice of Johnny O'Hare. He's a video shop owner and he's obsessed with film noir. He dresses up as Alan Ladd, and his sister, who never speaks, so we're not sure what she thinks, she dresses up as Veronica Lake. But when I looked at the manuscripts in parallel, I found many links and pairings. X-rays and cinema, the art of light, electricity, obsessive voyeurs, fairy tale references, and multiple pairs of shoes. Many references to feet. I discovered that feet in both books was mentioned 42 times, shoes 27 times, the foot 23 times, heels 11 times, socks 5 times, boots 4 times, platforms 4 times, Wellingtons 3 times, mules 3 times, slip-ons twice, tights once, stockings once, scuffs once, and then I stopped counting. I'm going to read one poem from each half of American Mules. The first poem is Clinical Indications. OH was the shorthand for the chemical equation C2H5OH. Ethanol, meaning alcohol, a tip-off from the doctor, a coded message to say that drink was involved or the patient was drunk. The radiographer, far away in a deserted X-ray department at night, had to watch out for the obstreperous. It could have been shorthand for Irish, but how could they scare me when I only had to lay my Cork accent like a wand on their ears? Once I puzzled over a request form for a chest X-ray that had one word, Irish, in the clinical indications box. Was it a joke, or working backwards, shorthand for the drink, or drunk, or look out for the telltale fractures of the third metacarpal from frustrated paddies punching the wall, or the bilateral healed rib fractures of the older labouring immigrants who got so plastered they fell down, broke, healed and carried on? Or did it mean what I never understood? That young doctor with the black moustache, too close to me at 2 a.m, whispering in my ear that something had to be done about the Irish. They're spreading TB, spitting it on the floors of Kilburn. I'm scanning another man's head, so I can't move away from the smell of his watsits. I look straight ahead, while through the microphone On the other side of the glass, my voice echoes, "Keep still, you're doing brilliant," to Mr. McNamara, lying yards away, terrified, on a moving table. And now I'm going to read the prologue to the narrative poem. It's in the voice of Johnny O'Hare. If you tell your dreams, you don't have to dream them anymore, says Alan Ladd, This Gun for Hire, 1942. Well, I can tell you now I've tried it and it doesn't work. It's your subconscious, my eye. They were overexcited about Freud in the 40s. Ingrid Bergman clucking over Gregory Peck in Spellbound 1945, driving him mad with her fork on the white tablecloth. Well, I, Johnny O'Hare, video shop proprietor, 2008, thought if I wrote it all down, I'd get those girls out of my mind, and that my sister Greta would agree about what the owl fella did, along with the track to the skivvy, to our bedridden mother, and Blackie the cat. And how we'd have been finished if it wasn't for Mrs. Savage, the postmistress.